Hello, it's Tuesday. I'm outside. It's just now starting to cool off. It's 4 o'clock, 8 to 4. But it's 60 degrees, but sitting on the porch under the shade. That's why I put a little light jacket on. I went to the store, I didn't have this little light jacket on. But anyway, today is Tuesday. Oh my goodness. I don't know. I was listening to Russell Brand. He's like, I listen to a few people. I also like Snoop Dogg. And if you like me to hit any certain topics, because mostly I like to talk political topics. One is the war on drugs, and that's what Russell Bryan was talking about. A comedian out of London. He has his own Facebook a blog. I'm sorry. For some reason today I didn't really have a good appetite. I didn't eat well. But anyway, so he was talking about the war on drugs, and the one thing that I find very interesting, especially in this neighborhood with the war on drugs, is the fact that I'm trying to see who's coming down the street. The fact that it hasn't worked, and the fact that, like, now, since they're starting to legalize marijuana, I've seen on Fox TV where they're like trying to say that, people OD'd on it. Now, I have to tell you personally, I've never ever known anybody to OD on marijuana. I don't believe in eating something meant to be it is meant to be smoking. I don't know why they would do that, and ruin a perfectly good. I don't know. It's not. It's not a herb. So, and I don't even see how it keeps its the THC in it during the cooking process. So, but anyway, like in this neighborhood, the war on drugs has really left this neighborhood with a bunch of empty, abandoned homes. Because if they're caught dealing in the neighborhood, they take the house. And what is sort of like a tradition, which has sort of been, almost, it's like before like the mom died, she would leave, to one of her kids, as she reclines in her years, and it's not, slows down and maybe doesn't want to do as much. So usually when that happens, they end up, like they take the house and they end up having the city taking over it. And you can see one example of the house the city owns, right across the street there. Let me see if hold on, I don't have my big cord on. See, right there across the street. They sold it like 3 times, and I sort of mentioned something about like, oh my God, I can't believe you're selling that. You know what I'm saying? Because it's not helping the neighborhood. It's, at the auction, and they're like, well, they should have looked at it beforehand. So their liability for their responsibilities is null. They don't have any law. It's the person's fault, not them putting it on the market. And there it is, empty. And one time it was sellable. But the lady across the street, Miss Penny, well, next to the house, Miss Penny, she's not in there anymore. She liked to call the city all the time, mow the grass, or, just call them and stuff. And meanwhile, her son, one of the biggest crack prostitutes around, bless his soul. I really feel bad for him, because he didn't stand a chance with that mother. Anyway, but so the war on the drugs has left this neighborhood, and what's devastated, and what's really crazy is, like, I guess the police are supposed to move in these homes where, like, it's so devastated that the school over here it's not pumping out children that are job ready. I know we're pushing them back farther and farther, because like I remember when I was growing up in New York, You know, marijuana, you could have, if you had an ounce or less, if you know, the worst you would get is a ticket. You know, if they you know, if they saw you, you know, with just real little, they might tell you to throw it out or just get out of my face. But you know, but I think it was like 78 that they made it illegal. And I remember right when marijuana got illegal, they were like telling everybody, because they were testing, they were going to test you. I mean, and I know a lot of people that, you know, they haven't worked since then. But I think I think one person, they did go back to school and become a lawyer. They went to jobs where, you know, like lawyers or you know, some governor, you know, some shit, or helper or something, where they don't, you know, a type of jobs where they don't, you know, test for drug use. And a lot of jobs to hire you up, and they don't have to go through that bullshit. But anyway, so when that first happened, they were saying, well, if you smoke cocaine, it'll be out of your system in 3 days, so you could still, you know, get a clean UA. So, you know, it seemed like in the 80s, it was like it was only like a third of the workforce that I could recognize that didn't seem like they was on cocaine, you know. But they, you know, they didn't do marijuana. And I have the, you know, coke as it goes. I think at first, you know, like the guys feel like they're able to do a lot more, do this, and then it ends up like they're just, you know, sort of like a lot of these guys around here. It's very sad that what the war on drugs has, how it's devastated not only this neighborhood, not only this school, but it is open it so that we have private prisons. And the South is notorious for their, I hate to say the prison using basically what I call slave labor, by using the inmates to do work for, you know what I'm saying, like they get like, I don't know, a very little amount of money, but like if they make a phone call, like it's like $5 a phone call. It's such, you know what I'm saying, where you know what I'm saying, where they're mostly just sucking it out. And like when I was a little girl, I remember like in our neighborhood is like in Hell's Kitchen, a lot of the people that came off of Ellison Island, the women, if they weren't married, they went right into prostitution. And they had 42nd Street where there was prostitution, and they showed movies all the time. They closed that down. So, you know, so, and like here, I don't see them closing anything down. You know, I don't see them really doing anything but spinning their wheels and thinking it's like the revolving door. But if you're in the mind and you're saying this is a revolving door, you're using the word that they would call for failure. Like this thing is like going a revolving door. This thing is failing. You know. I mean, like, not in so many words, but if you listen to it, really pretty much everything they say, it's a failure. It's absolutely failure. It's devastated our country. It's allowed people not even to care about educating our kids, you know, because if they're going from their mama house to the schoolhouse and straight to the jailhouse, and the children, and like, I'd say like, since 2008, the kids that I've seen graduated, and they go to Ford Elementary, then they go to Mitch High over here, that I've seen graduate, that go to Mitch High in this neighborhood, they're not going anywhere. You know, they're really not going anywhere. They're very violent. I have to admit that since I've been in the South, that I understand very well hatred, because and I understand very well the effects that them whooping their kids has on them. And I think that sometimes, you know, you can't see the forest for all the trees, but it's very obvious, you know, that they hit their kids go to school and hit every day on Facebook, you know, and you got some kids that are real narcissistic. They only, you know, like they like if they, like some of the ladies out here, like they put something on the side of the road and it still might be decent. I've seen them break it, tear it. You know what I'm saying? They don't, you know, that would hurt them if somebody was able to use something that they threw out. I mean, I'm even scared, like, to get anything around here because they're so insecure, you know. And it would help this state, and I think a lot of states, you know, especially with the young kids these days, if they did legalize marijuana. I really would. I really do. You know, I don't see these kids doing summer jobs. How can they? You know, they're not going to get hired. They can't get hired. They can't get a job. You know, has it helped the community? The war on drugs is basically a war on the people. Because if the American citizens are the ones that are, you know, addicted to these drugs or, you know, introduced to these drugs and sort of like the propaganda around it, the way it's, you know, like if you look at Fox and, you know, they ever tried it and none of that lie happens, then, you know, they dismiss anything that anybody has to say on that subject. They're, you know, they're not trustworthy. But anyway, hopefully, you know, there's a lot of money that they're making. They're making money with the private prisons that mandate that when they come in that state, or that city rather, that they have to at least have like 90%. You know, so it doesn't make any sense for them but to have a revolving door. It doesn't make any sense for them to rehabilitate them. Doesn't make any sense for them, like, to leave prison and be a machinist or you know, or you know, learn something that's useful that they could come back out in the community and get a job. But, you know, like, you know, before a lot of them could really get on their feet, they have probation, parole, where they got to pay all this money and all this stuff. So, you know, then you're trying to get a house and you're starting from nothing, you know. So, you know, and so, you know, it didn't work in London. That's why they sent all those people over here to empty their jails. It doesn't work. It didn't work during Jesus Christ's time either. Then Paul, Matthew, and John write their books out where they're incarcerated. Well, anyway, but you know, I see that we are having some changes. We are having some laws, you know, that are going to legalize it. You know, the tax is, you know, they're taxing, like in Colorado. I hear a few states that have legalized it are doing very well. They just have to legalize it on the federal level. So it you know, it doesn't make any sense the way we it doesn't make any sense, you know. But, you know, I mean, I think that, you know, like once they were able to use the word, you know, war, and then you can look at Ferguson, Missouri. That is the results that you will have, the policemen going down the street and shooting the rubber bullets or metal bullets, you know, shooting tear gas, and you know, that crazy sound they have. I can just imagine if there's children around there where they're doing that piercing sound, or, you know, a baby. There was still stores and places and businesses around there. So with the police trying to aggravate them, they escalated the problem. You know what I'm saying? All of that could have been avoided in the first place if they didn't, like, shoot the person. You know, and the second place is the police's response was very nasty, very rude, and very in your face. We'll kill any fucking body we want to. Especially, you know, with that Darren Wilson talking about he'll kill again. Now, the man said he'd kill again. So basically, if I hear somebody say they'd kill again, that meant he meant to kill in the first place. He might know how, how to act afterwards. You know, it's like I knew this guy. He used to beat his wife and all the time. I'm like, Yeah, how come you always go back to him, you know? We was in our 20s. I was already divorced, though. And, I think I divorced my second husband then. But anyway, and she's like, oh, he's always so sorry, and he gives me hugs, and he gives me kisses. So you could see, like, where these parents that whoop their kids, and then they give them a hug and kiss, you could see how they get that pain mixed up with love, but pain should be a symbol that there's something wrong. Like, you'll have pain, like if you break your arm, and if you didn't have that pain, you wouldn't know your arm was broke as fast as you do, and you might injure more or have internal bleeding. But pain is there to signify, you know, something's wrong. So even if you think that, you know, you're teaching your child something, the message to them is that it is okay to cause pain, to be a bully, and to hurt other people. It's acceptable. So when they grow up, you know, of course it's acceptable for, you know what I'm saying, his mom beat the fuck out of him, he beat his wife, you know, and then, you know, she didn't see anything wrong with whooping, until she saw something. Ooh. Until she saw something wrong with it, you know. And there is something wrong with whooping your children, you know. And then early learned behavior doesn't go away. So anyway, hopefully we'll do something and we'll stop having a war on American citizens, and that we will be able to have a little bit more peace. And maybe if they did change the law, if they did legalize marijuana here, maybe we could start repairing this neighborhood to where it's function more. You know what I'm saying? And then maybe we could have the policemen not be so mean, hateful, and, you know, like, not take responsibilities for their action, because that would be really a major breakthrough for our justice system if we actually start repairing the damage that we have done to it with some of these laws. Because it looks like you have more murderers out, and the non-violent ones are locked up because they're potheads. Anyway, so I think the solution to a lot of our problems is we need to legalize marijuana. We need to have parenting classes for these parents so they can understand the actions they're having on their children by whooping them. And there are tried and true traditions, you know, and, you know, like, I noticed, like, I was around people that were more educated and basically very rich in New York. I know that the majority of them didn't do it because they're investing their money in this child. A lot of them, they're getting tutors, they're going to private school, they're investing in it, and a lot of them are investing in these children, and, you know, these children are going to be taking care of them in their old age. Or, you know, going into the same business, you know. I mean, look at Bush. Look at both Bushes. They both got to be president. I don't know if they did hit him. I don't know if they didn't. But I know they invested in his education. And I don't mean with lip service. You know. Anyway, so try to stay safe. Tomorrow's Wednesday. Hump day. Whoopee. Doesn't really make a difference what day when you don't work. She's getting ready. I don't know if you can see. She's getting ready to leave the yard. She's on the hunt. Anyway, I'm going in to make me something to eat. Happy Tuesday. Da, 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 da.